The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back to It's Just Kim, or should I say, welcome back, Kim, to It's Just Kim. Been gone for a minute. Let me just take a woosah breath, just thinking about why I've been gone for just a while. Just a lot of things going on. And people use that cliche, oh, just got a lot going on. Sister had a lot going on and just needed to take a minute. Sometimes we need to take a minute, back up off of some things, take a break, and just take care of ourselves. So that's pretty much what was going on with me. Had a lot going on in family, work. Had a dear nephew pass away, which was huge and major. And, had to take care of my kids because, that's family and they grew up together and loved on one another. And that was tough, so we are getting ourselves back together, working with family, trying to check in on them, make sure they're good. And just taking it slow. So welcome back to It's Just Kim. It's our Friday. Yeah, Friday. Hey, Friday. This is the time where we celebrate the end of a very hectic week this week. We take some deep cleansing breaths because it was a lot. I know your week was a lot. Because my week was a lot. And then we share some love bits with my listeners. So what we're going to do is we are going to start with our mantra. Yeah, it's mantra time. So what we want to do is we want to make some declarations. We want to say this out loud. Okay. I'm going to say it out loud and I want you to say it out loud as well. Okay. So you can repeat after me. It's okay to not know everything. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be yourself. It's okay to ask for help. Let me say that one again, because sometimes we get caught up. It's okay, and I want you to say it out loud, to ask for help. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have a bad day, shed a tear, get a little frustrated and have to just, take a nap or go to bed early. It's okay to start over. If you fall off, fall down, whatever it is, we fall down, we get up. It's okay. It's okay to start over. Guess what? It's okay to set boundaries. Yeah, that one, many of us need to keep doing and need to start. It's okay to be less than perfect. It's okay to do what is best for you. It's okay to say no because it is a complete sentence. N-O period. And guess what? It's okay not to be okay, because there are a lot of things going on in our lives where sometimes we're not okay. And we can not be okay, and we can reach out to a friend, a loved one, a family member, and say, you know what? Today I'm not okay. Can you help me? So that's some things that we can do. Okay, next, please know that you are loved, you are worthy, your feelings are valid, and this one is really important. You are enough. Just like you are, just like you are, just like God created you, you are enough. Now, the next one is remember every day you should and you can be grateful. Start over and try again. Be kind to you, yourself, and celebrate your accomplishments. Yeah, celebrate you. Tell you that you are good, you are loved, you are kind, you are wonderful, and you are enough. Celebrate you. So let's go ahead and just take a deep breath, because we had a long week, and maybe some of you are still at work and still having that long week. But let's take a deep breath. Let's do it. Close your eyes and just take one really deep breath. That felt good. It felt so good. Let's do it again. Through your nose. Through your mouth. All right, we're settled down now, right? We're all calm. We're ready. Good. Let's get started. Today, I want to talk about New Year's resolutions. And I know you're saying, Miss Kim, co-pastor, Miss Lady, it's not the new year anymore. We're already in February. Right. So this is the perfect time to talk about it, because this is the time where we fall off. We make those New Year's resolutions, at the stroke of midnight, or the next day. We write it down, we put it on our bathroom mirror, whatever it is the case may be. And then we say, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of the year. And in our minds, we really do feel like this is what we're going to do. And I'm laughing because I'm thinking about so many times, so many years I made New Year's resolutions, and I'm not knocking them. So please don't send me any hate mail thinking I'm knocking New Year's resolutions, because they do work for people. But I just want to share some information about it. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can join our garden. Isn't it beautiful? All the flowers and butterflies. You can join us. So I wanted to say this, that according to this one poll that I read, this was back in December 2020, at least 44% of the people who took the poll said that they had planned to make a resolution in the year 2020. That was back in 2020. They said in 2021, they were going to make a New Year's resolution. Then that decreased. In 2021, 39% of the people said that they were going to make a New Year's resolution in the year 22. So I believe I read this other article the other day, and it was saying that it was even lower. It was like maybe 32% said that they were going to make a New Year's resolution in 2023. I don't know. Polls are subjective to the people that are taking them. We're not polling the whole world, so we don't know everybody that's going to make a New Year's resolution. But those folks who did take the poll said, yeah. So there was like, out of 100% of the people that they polled, only 32% of the people said, oh yeah, in 2023, I'm going to start another New Year's resolution. So it may have been like something like, lose weight, get out of debt, start a hobby. I'm going to hang out, socialize more, or whatever the case may be. Your New Year's resolution is very specific to you. It's what you feel like you need to do, or what's necessary for you, of course, to be better, to do better, or become healthier, or whatever the case may be. But the thing about New Year's resolutions is that when you look at the psychology, I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my microphone. I just need to get a new one. I think it's a little on the cheap side. The microphone's staying, actually. Sorry, we're live. But what the psychology of New Year's resolutions is that it really is about the celebration part. It's a celebratory type way of thinking and feeling that, for the new year, this is part of the celebration. Part of the celebration is saying, my New Year's resolution is, this is what I'm going to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It really is a good thing, because setting or committing and setting goals really for the new year is about having hope or optimism that change can happen, that you can make some changes, that you can do better, you can make some improvements, you can set goals and achieve them. That whole mindset of making a New Year's resolution is really about that, having that hope, being optimistic, and believing that you can make some changes in your life. However, the reality is that 90% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned within the first few months of the year. Oh. Does that resonate with you? Yeah, because it really does resonate with me. It really does resonate with me. I think about countless years that I have made New Year's resolutions and I didn't stick with them. And I'm going to share some reasons why, some more common reasons why, it's hard for people to stick with New Year's resolutions. Okay, so let's take a look at those. I'll talk about all three of them in being more specific, but the top three reasons why people don't stick with resolutions, or why we're not very successful with them, is one, because we're thinking too big. Number two, we don't consider why we are making the resolution. And then number three is probably the most common reason of all: we're just not ready. We're just not ready to make that change. And that's huge. When you're making change, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. Okay. So there was something that was written in one of these articles that I read. It said, as a result of the coming of the new year may lead to many of us considering that the changes that we want to make, or may have been told to make in our lives, are things that are necessary. But the actual ritual of making the resolution can serve as a motivator. So we've been told, or we've told ourselves, there's a change you need to make. There's a change you need to make. And then making the resolution is more like a motivator to help us to try and, in our minds, to try and commit to making those changes. So that New Year resolution is like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. But the truth really is that we can make a resolution anytime. It's February. We can make a resolution. It doesn't have to start at the new year. And I think sometimes what happens with us is we make a New Year resolution and we fall, and then we just forget it. Because we said it was a New Year resolution. I was supposed to start it at the new year and keep it going. But if it didn't happen, or check it out, if you didn't make one in January, maybe you didn't know what type of resolution or change, if you will, you wanted to make or needed to make it, for the fact. But at that point, you can make it anytime. When you figure it out, make it. If it's in March, march on with your new resolution, your new change. Okay. Because we can make it at any time. And it can represent, because it does represent a fresh start. And I think that's why we get caught up in it being a new year resolution, because it's a fresh start. We're thinking about a fresh start. We're thinking that starting at the beginning, and January is definitely the beginning of the year. So, sometimes we as people need something to indicate a fresh start, to indicate newness, and so we choose that New Year resolution as a way to get that fresh start going. True also that New Year resolutions also, they are times of reflection. So during that time, during the new year, we start reflecting on the past. We start reflecting on, the year before, some of the things that didn't go too well, some things that we made great progress at, or some things that we didn't do during the year that we're thinking, maybe if I incorporate that in my lifestyle, things will be better for me. And I'll have more progress, or I'll do better. I'll save more money. I'll slim down. I'll have a better relationship with my family, my loved ones, my honey, my kids, just having the mindset of the new year and a new year resolution really is about helping us put things into perspective. That's really what it is. It really does help us in that way of putting things into perspective. So, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to accomplish this big, huge goal, then maybe we'll say, I'm going to write down some things that I would like to see change, this coming year. And maybe I can take some baby steps to making that happen. But as human beings, this was good. I read this. It said, as human beings, we are most times optimistic in the face of evidence. So when something is right there smack dab in our face, then that's when we are most optimistic about accomplishing goals. Evidence that we are falling short in the area, a place where we know we need to improve, or a place that we could do better. When we are faced with evidence, then sometimes we are more motivated to make a change. And the funny but sad part about all of that, or, about our human awareness of New Year's resolutions, is that we know the success rates are low and that we failed in the past, but we just keep on making them. And I'm not laughing at anybody. I'm laughing at me. We know. We absolutely know. And we just keep on making them, we keep on making these New Year resolutions in hopes that one day it's going to stick, But let's go back into, why do these resolutions fail? The first one, thinking too big. We want to make these huge, immediate changes. And that's the thing sometimes. It's almost like we live in this microwave world, and we feel like, I want to lose 10 pounds, but I want that 10 pounds to be gone today. Or I want that 10 pounds to be gone tomorrow or next week. Or I'm going to drink this miracle juice, and the miracle juice is going to help me shed, 30 pounds, right away. That's not really, that is really not something that is rational. It's not rational in our thinking. Instead of making these big, huge resolutions that we're going to change our eating, or we're going to change our drinking, our exercise, or we're just not going to eat meat anymore. Maybe we could start with just adding walking into our daily regimen, if we're not a gym rat, if you will. Maybe we can say, instead of, I'm not going to eat meat, maybe we can say, I'm going to start with a meatless Wednesday. I'm going to start with one day a week I won't eat meat. I'll give my body a break. And then maybe, like I said, instead of saying I'm gonna drink a gallon of water every single day. Well, did we consider our bathroom accessibility throughout the day? Do we work in an office? Do we drive around the city? Are we in the field? So those are things that we have to consider when we're making these New Year resolutions, that are big, drastic changes in our life. Okay. Those are good things. Not eating meat, if that's what you don't want to do. I personally like meat, but I try not to eat as much meat as I used to eat. Instead of saying I'm going to drink a gallon of water, because I'm going to be honest with you, I may give it a good try, but more than likely, if I say that I am going to drink a gallon of water every single week, guess what? I probably won't even want to drink water at all. So, we get caught up in setting these big goals that are sometimes not achievable. But maybe we should start with like baby steps. Start with 5 or 6 steps that lead up to accomplishing the goal. And then the goal becomes attainable. Okay, it becomes doable. And it probably becomes more enjoyable. Okay. So that's number one, that we make these big, huge, goals, or resolutions, or, we say we want to make this change, but it's a big, huge goal that either we're not already involved in. If you're already in the gym, then you say, I've been going to the gym 3 days a week, so I think I'm going to add another day. That's different than saying, I don't go to the gym at all. I don't even know where the gym is in my neighborhood, and I'm going to start going 5 days a week. Yeah, it ain't going to work. I'm going to tell you now, okay? More than likely, you may be that person that can just push through and make it happen. And I glory in your spunk. However, most likely that will not happen like that. You need to take some steps leading up to that. Okay. And I'm not against resolutions, as I said before, but I know that sometimes when we fail at things over and over and over again, it does a lot to our self-esteem. Okay. The way we see ourselves and believe that we can accomplish goals. Number 2, we don't tend to ask why we need to make this change. That's a good question when making change in our lives. Why? Why are you doing this? Why are you making this change? Why are you not eating meat anymore? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to eat it anymore. Could it be that you don't digest it well and you want to give your system a break from time to time? Could it be that you notice that it's helping you to pack on the pounds? I mean, really, honestly, we should ask ourselves why we are doing the things that we are doing, instead of just doing stuff, instead of just doing things that are popular to other people or for other people or with society or with this, our community. But why? Why are we making that change? Okay. There's this quote that says, the pain of not changing has to be greater than the pain of changing for us to really change. Did you hear that? That was deep. I'm going to read it again. It says, the pain of not changing. Okay. We're talking about making a change. Okay. Making a change. The pain of not changing has to be greater than the pain of changing for us to really change. Just sit back and take a minute with that one. The pain of not making that change has to be greater than the actual pain of changing in order to really change. That is so doggone true. It's true. I mean, if And this is what happens when like we end up in the hospital because we have this health issue, right? We end up in the hospital and the doctor says, you can no longer do this, you can no longer do that, blah, 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 blah. If you keep doing that, then this is what's going to happen. You keep doing that, you're going to die. Well, the pain of not changing has to be greater than the pain of changing in order for us to really change. So if we keep doing what the doctor said we shouldn't do, then guess what? The pain of that is greater than the pain of actually not eating meat or not eating sweets or whatever it is the doctor told us not to do. Okay. So sometimes we're pushed into that place where, it's like, I ain't got no choice. I got to make this change. I have to make this change. I think we need to go to a little break. So after this commercial, I'll come right back. All right, so we are back. We're back to It's Just Kim. We're talking about New Year's resolution or no. It's your choice, right? I'm not saying that this is something that you have to do. I'm just giving you some things to think about, when you're considering New Year's resolutions, because I know that we have made some. We, hey, December 31st, 2020, some of us, made some resolutions that we said we were going to stick to. And maybe at this point, we have fallen off. We have fallen off and we're feeling bad about it. That's what I want you to avoid, is that feeling bad about it, so bad that you either just dismiss it, because it may be something good that you really do need to consider. But I want you to think about it differently. Okay, think about it differently. So we've said that the very first thing problem is that we're thinking too big. We're taking big, huge boulders when we should be taking small chunks. And then secondly, we have not asked ourselves the question, why? Why do we need to make this change? The why is very important, because if we understand and know the reason why we are making a particular change or resolution, then we can take some steps into finding other ways to making the goal work, make it stick, make it more enjoyable, more doable. And then it can last a while, it'll be more long-term than, something we do for just a couple months and we jump off. We'll have a real purpose. It makes a difference. It'll make a difference and make a difference in our lives. Okay. So number three, there are times when we're not really ready to make the change. How about that? We're not ready. We're not ready to make the change. We're not ready to make the change. And if you're not ready, you're just not ready. You know, when we're making changes in our lives, and that's in any facet, any area, it's not just about changing our eating or starting an exercise routine or saving money, but that's in like making changes in our commitments and making changes in our relationships, making changes in education. I mean, just every time you think about making a change in your life, you have to be ready for that change. Right. Because if you're not ready to make that change, then more than likely you're going to fall in your attempt. And then you probably may get so discouraged that you don't even make the attempt anymore. So it's something that, that could be really beneficial to your life, but because you failed at it, or you didn't really consider all that came with the change, you just said, forget it. I'm not going to do it. So I just want to talk just a bit here about the process of making a change. It's called the stages of change. So whenever we are considering to make a change in our life, there are some stages that go with change. There, you just don't change something right away, and that's it. So there is a chart. We're going to put that chart up. The stages of change. The first thing is called pre-contemplation. Okay. Pre-contemplation. Really, pre-contemplation is like all this stuff is going on in your mind. You're trying to think, but actually, that there are some changes that you need to make, but maybe you're in denial. You're not really ready for the actual doings of the change. You're just, like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to do that. Or it's unnecessary. I'm going to take the magic pill and I'm going to lose weight. Or, you know what? I'm just, I'm not going to go back to school. I'll make too many bills and, it'll just cause, my finances to go down. I mean, we come up with all these excuses in our mind. That's the pre-contemplation stage of change. That's actually a part of change when we are in that denial. Because think about it. Denial is really an awareness. It really is. Because when you're denying something about yourself or in your life, that means you are aware of something that I'm aware of that. I'm aware that may need to change, but it doesn't need to change. I'm good. Then there's the contemplation stage. Okay. In this stage, you're more aware of the benefits if you were actually to make that change. Okay. You've done a little research, you've read up on it, you've been told, you understand it, you educated yourself. And now you understand that there are some benefits that come with making this change. Then number 3, preparation. Okay. So after you have come out of denial, you've accepted, the awareness that you have about yourself, more benefit, you understand that there's more benefits. Now you start making small changes, to get ready for the big change. Okay. You haven't done any exercise. So now you may start walking. When I had COVID in 2020, prior to COVID, I could walk all over my neighborhood, up hills and all that kind of stuff. And once I was recovering from COVID, I could barely walk from my front door to my driveway. That's no joke, without being completely out of breath. And so I had to start preparing myself because I knew I wanted to get back to those big long walks that I was taking before. But I knew that I just couldn't get out there and just walk like I was, I knew I would be passed out somewhere. That wasn't going to work. So I had to make small changes, even with just recovering. I had to make small changes. In any type of change that you're going to make, you need to make small changes to lead up to the big change. So you're not going to lose 50 pounds in 1 week. It's not going to happen. You're going to need to make, maybe 1 pound, 2 pounds a week, or however you do it. But those small changes. Or you may say, I'm going to take sodas out of my diet, or I'm not going to eat any sugar, or less sugar. Or I'm going to refrain from eating bread. That's not saying that you're going to stop eating meat, bread, sugar, sodas. You're just removing one thing at a time to, give yourself those small steps to kind of get acclimated to the change. And then action. Action is number 4. Action is when we take direct action in accomplishing the goal. So now we're actually doing the things that need to be done. We're out there exercising. We are, limiting our intake. If it was smoking, we are not smoking at all at this point, instead of, maybe not smoking as much. That's the action phase. And then maintenance. And I'm going to scurry along here because I know I'm running out of time. And then maintenance. Now, maintenance is really important, because once you put yourself in a position where you're now accomplishing your goal, you're working hard at your goal, the maintenance part is really important, because the maintenance part is where you consciously have to start avoiding former things, former behaviors, former people, former places, in order to continue with maintaining these new habits. So, for instance, if you know that a certain restaurant has a certain pasta that you absolutely just could die for, then maybe that's not the place to go, celebrate your birthday. You feel me? So it's like you have to be conscious in your decision making about avoiding certain behaviors, avoiding certain things, certain places, certain people, in order to maintain all these great new habits that you have started. Okay. And then, unfortunately, there is a part of this whole cycle of change. There is something called relapse. Okay. And it's a very common occurrence. I want you to know that relapse is a very common occurrence. When you go through relapse, you'll probably experience some feelings of failure, disappointment, frustration, because you're like, man, I was on a movement. I was on track. I was really doing it, and now all of a sudden I fell off, or I had that one biscuit, and it just threw everything off. I said that because I had a biscuit yesterday. So. But instead of saying it throws everything off, just don't have another biscuit today. How about that? So with relapse, there are some things that you need to do. You need to look at, why did you eat the biscuit? Were you nervous? Were you frustrated? Was a lot going on at work? Did somebody call you and tick you off? I mean, what was the trigger? Did you get triggered? Okay. And then, what can we do to avoid those types of triggers? What can we do to avoid those types of triggers? So, I'm going to bring it to a close. But I just wanted to say that, first, let me go back and say, hey, I am not for or against New Year's resolutions. I believe it's all very personal to a person and what they decide that they need to do for themselves. It's all very personal, subjective. So you have to make your own decisions about what you're going to do, for yourself, to make your goals or accomplish your goals, or to make improvements in your life, or for you as a person. That's up to you. That's what you do for you. But I just wanted you to be aware that there are some things that we do, or some processes that we have, or the mindsets that most people have that cause us to fail at making changes. And I just want you to be able to accomplish your goals. I want to be able to accomplish my goals. I'm not just, preaching to you. I'm preaching to myself, if you will, saying these words out loud so that they can get into my spirit and that I can be more encouraged to, go about making my goals in the right way, and then being able to put certain processes in place to stick to them. Yeah. So that's it for It's Just Kim today. I just want to encourage you. If you fell off the wagon on your New Year's resolution, I just want you to be encouraged. Okay? Be encouraged. You can do it. I love you. And until the next time, you take care and you stay safe.
Thank you.